Hello everyone and thanks for tuning in on today's video. Let's dive into the models for this week. Just before that, if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe with notifications on so you don't miss out on our forecasts. We would highly appreciate anyone who does subscribe. So if we look at the facts charts from the Met Office, at the moment you can see we've got a occluded front currently running across southern England, bringing some light rain and drizzle. And then into the evening we've got a low pressure coming up from France over here, which could bring patchy sleet or light snow to southeast England. However, this will remain mostly over higher ground, but we could also see a time when we do see sleet or snow to lower levels as well, but nothing really expected from this. So if we run it forward, that low will gradually move and clear eastwards into the North Sea, where we've got another low pressure trying to move in from the west, but this will kind of occlude out across western England. So possibly along this boundary here, we could see possible a rain to snow event, and it will probably die down as snow as well across England. So we could see a possible snow event with this. We're watching a close eye on this one because we've got cold air in place, as well as high pressure currently based in Scandinavia, which will move up into Greenland, and then it will kind of block out all the low pressures coming in from the Atlantic, which is why we could see a possible very cold spell into the end of this week. So if we run that forward, and then yet again you can see that kind of front dying down across western England, where we do have that cold air and that easterly start to come in, we could see possible a little snow feature with this as well as it moves into the colder air, but we will monitor that very closely. So if we look at the UKV charts, and we look at the precipitation and cloud, as you can see at the moment we've currently got, quickly run it forward a bit, we've currently got a lot of drizzle and murk across the country, with snow across northern England, especially on higher ground, as well as snow into Scotland as well. And if we run that forward, we've got that low pressure moving up into southeastern England, which UKV isn't really picking up much winteriness from this. However, some models do have winteriness kind of picking up within this area here. So I think that area there is probably the highest chance of seeing anything wintry from tonight. But yeah, again, we will watch and wait and see. And once again, as we move into tonight, we've got some more snow showers feeding in into North England and Scotland. Oh, and if we run that back, there we go. And then into Tuesday early hours, yeah, again, we've got light rain showers moving in to parts of eastern England, as well as snow showers again moving into Scotland and the hills of northern England. If we move that forward, this is now for 5 o'clock on Tuesday, so this is tomorrow. We've yet again still got those light snow patches coming in into northern England, as well as a little front trying to push up into South Ireland, but that's not really making any progress, quite very slow moving. And then we should be introducing the cold air on Thursday early hours, and then as that front kind of dies down, we should see this readily turn to snow. But exactly how far eastwards and how far westwards this actually dies down, so it could die down over Cornwall, could die down and reach all the way across the Midlands, but we could also see some snow into sort of this area here. So I think this area here has the highest chance of seeing anything snowfall from this little feature, but we'll be keeping an eye on that because it's still quite far away yet. And yeah, again, we've got another low pressure coming in across Friday early hours, which could also bring snow into south and southwestern England, but exactly how far northwards that moves is still very uncertain yet, so we have to keep a very close eye on that. So we could see some light snow into southwest England, but this could also be further north and also dip down south and become a channel low, where we could also see a possible snow feature to southern England or maybe the Midlands possibly, but we are also going to keep a close eye on that as well. And as we move into Saturday, skies will kind of clear up across southern England, but we're still going to see that drizzle and murk and little light snow showers into north and eastern England. So if we look at 850 HPA temperatures, we can see we're currently still in that cold, very cold air mass, must I say. and then that will slightly re-die down. So looks like southwest England and southern England are going to go into the 3 degrees 850 HPA temperatures, whereas once again that cold refires back up over Scotland and northern England, where we see there's quite cold temperatures now. So we're getting into the -8, nearing double digits there. And then yet again we've got that possibility of that warm front trying to move through up into southwest England, and where that cold boundary is, that's where we could see some possible snow, but very uncertain with that one. I don't think we would see any snow of that, but we're also much notice to keep a very close eye on those type of stuff as well. So if we look at the 2 minimum temperatures for this week, so today England, majority of England really struggling to get above 4 degrees, whereas Scotland is remaining below freezing, and Ireland is nearing into the 5 and 6 degrees Celsius, whereas tonight not really dropping as much. We're going into the 3 and 2 degrees mark, whereas Scotland's still remaining freezing, and Ireland is still gone down into the 1 degrees and to the 3 degrees mark, so not really a cold night there. Wednesday, same again, temperatures 4-3 degrees Ireland, Scotland freezing, England 3 or freezing, so a little cold night there where frost could develop. And then Thursday morning we could see a widespread frost develop across Scotland, northern England and Wales, whereas majority of England remaining above freezing, as well as Ireland too. And if we go into Friday early hours, we could see a widespread frost develop across England, Scotland and possibly Northern Ireland as well. And temperatures won't really get above 5 degrees on Friday. And then Saturday, once again, we're expecting a widespread frost again for Scotland, England, and not so much Ireland, because we are going below freezing. But yeah, again, this is still quite far out, so we have to keep a close eye on this as well, whether we do see this or not. So if we look at the GFS model quickly, so at the moment we've got high pressure currently expanding into Scandinavia, and then this will gradually increase up to Greenland, where we will block out all the low pressures down here. But how strong this low pressure up here is determined on how far these low pressures travel eastwards. So if this low pressure dies down quicker, we could see low pressures actually start to move through and beat that cold air. Whereas if this high pressure is stronger, which some models are suggesting, we could see the cold air win out, which we will have a look closer in a second. So as you can see, that high pressure expanding in Scandinavia, then expanding into Greenland, and then we start to pull in a very brief easterly wind. And once again, you can see we have high pressure, very dominant, blocking out all the low pressures down here, making them dive into Spain, Portugal area. And then you can see that cold air is really starting to filter in across eastern parts of Europe, sorry, I must say. And as you can see, that high pressure starts to diminish, but however the high pressure is still up here, but starts to fade away down here. So we will pull in a brief cold spell possibly, but we have to keep a close eye on this because it's very uncertain still, must I say. And this is for the end of the end of this week, as you can see up here. So we're starting next week already, where we start to pull in that cold air. As you can see, those low pressures really diving south and not really heading our way on this. But however, some models do actually have this low pressure much stronger and much deeper, which means that this high pressure could fade away much quicker and we go into a more stormy and unsettled conditions. So if we have a look at the 850 HPA temperature, you can see, oh god, just gonna go back a second. Silly ad, right, there we go. And this is for Tuesday, where we get the high pressure start building, so you can see a little bit of a milder upper air temperatures into southwest England. However, because we're under high pressure, this will be an intrusion, so a colder air is still likely on the ground. And as you can see, that low pressure is really starting to develop out here, but so is all this cold air is now filtering into Eastern Europe. So we're going to see a very high battleground stage with this. That high pressure slightly going up into Greenland up here, which kind of blocks out all these low pressures, and once again we can start to see that easterly wind is really kicking up now, and that cold air is starting to move westwards. How far westwards is a question, but as you can see on this run, it does win overall, and we go into a very, very cold easterly wind. As you can see, we're going into the -10 upper air temperatures, which would be conducive for snow, even to low-lying levels. And we could see some small disturbances with this on exact tracks. So you can see on the North Sea, we could see a possible disturbance develop across the North Sea into eastern England. However, we are still quite far out, and whether this cold spell is going to happen is still quite uncertain. So we have to keep a very close eye on this, and how much cold air we get is still the question. As you can see, we've got -15 up here, as well as -20 peaking in this area up here. So how much cold air we actually pull in from this is the next question we also have to answer. But whether we do see this cold spell or not is the first question, which has to be answered, which we are not answering for a while yet. As you can see, that cold spell kind of diminishes quite quickly, and we go back into the high pressure. However, we're still pulling in a brief easterly wind, but this cold air has moved back slightly further into Eastern Europe. So big question mark on what actually happens with the weather patterns next week, but we shall see. That video will be covered next week as well. So we have a look at the ECMWF, and this is a 6Z as well, so we have not actually seen this yet. So once again, we have this high pressure building up into Scandinavia, which is why we're now pulling in a easterly wind, as winds are going clockwise or anti-clockwise, not too sure actually, but the winds are going this way. So we're pulling in an easterly wind, and the high pressure will retrogress up to Greenland. And we get rid of this add quickly. And you can see that high pressure develops up to Greenland, and we'll start to see that cold air all the way up here start to filter down into Eastern Europe, and could possibly head into the UK, with that low pressure kind of looking much stronger on this model, must I say. So that might be a big question whether this actually moves through or not. But you can see we've still got that high pressure up here, and we've still got high pressure still retrogressing up into Greenland. And then as you can see, we get another rebuild of high pressure retrogressing up into Greenland. However, it does look on this run that the Atlantic may win out, sadly. If you're a cold fan, this is not really the run you really want to see. As you can see, we have that high pressure really sitting above us, and we have that low pressure much deeper than expected, and that cold air is really having no chance to come into us, and we are pulling a southerly wind, so an early spring from the ECMWF 6Z. Whereas if we looked at the 0Z, we can see that we get that high pressure start to build in into Scandinavia, pulling that cold air down into Eastern Europe. But once again, the 0Z wins out for the Atlantic, and we go into an early spring. So not really good on the ECMWF side, but however, we're going to quickly look at the ensembles. So if we look at the GFS, we can see at the moment it is currently -5 upper air temperatures, and even tomorrow, at the end of tomorrow, there's still quite a large spread in ensembles, which is quite concerning. So as you can see, we've got where that cold air starts to come in. So across Saturday and Sunday, we've still got that kind of mid 50-50 split. However, it does look like more models have gone into the milder spell up here. However, we do still have the few ensemble members going for cold down here. So you can see all these models down here going for cold, and all these models up here are going for a milder spell. So it's still a 50-50 split, must I say. But however, it does look like there is a lot more, I wouldn't say a lot more, I say a fewer more going for a milder spell, so we kind of do need to watch this space. And if we look at the ECMWF model, we see once again that mean is very much in the middle, and we've still got those colder runs trying to pick up down here, as well as we've got the warmer runs up into here. So it's very 50-50 split, must I say. But however, I don't think this pattern is going to be resolved for quite a long time. Maybe, hopefully, until the end of tomorrow or the end of tonight. So make sure you're following our Twitter, or must I say X, which is Convective UK. And I hope this helped everyone, and we'll be back possibly tomorrow or the end or this weekend or the start of next week. So make sure you are subscribed with notifications on, as I'd highly appreciate that. Goodbye and enjoy the rest of your week.